Hi, people on the internet. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully be reading my blog. Now this should have been my first post, the About Me section, why I'm qualified and why you should listen to me. But that's why I post every other day, so like, this is a bonus Monday video, yay! In case I forget things like this. Okay, so why should this dorky Filipino white kid with freaking cool goggles be teaching you poetry? Fuck that. Sorry. And I'll just right now apologize if there's any weird sounds. I live in a very old building on the first floor. So the street's right there. The hallway's right there. People are loud. Very loud. And the pipes make weird sounds. Freaked me out at first, but you get used to it. New York City life. So, yes, I am graduating this May. Our school's kind of weird, so my major is technically called Media, Culture, and the Arts, and I have a minor in Literature and Business, but basically, I'm a literature student rather than an art student, with a primary focus on poetry. It kind of just worked out that way, that all my classes had poetry in it, or all my art classes and literature classes, so that was a plus. Even my college writing 2 professor taught on Robert Frost, and that's kind of the foundation of this blog. I wrote my research paper on how I think the term was creative genius, was connected to mental illness or disorders that creates something wonderful out of something crazy. So yes, I will go through and show you the classes and books that I've studied to show that I know at least something about what I'm talking about. So yes, Robert Frost. Lots of poems, we had to memorize them, use a bunch for our sources, which was a lot of fun. I also read his biography, so I know so much about Robert Frost. Love the guy. Then, my first class, literature class, it worked out well, because we only offer 1 class a semester, and they kind of cycle through. But my first was classical literature, which is really the foundation of all literature and poetry, as written literature. The Greeks. Yeah, the Greeks. Yay them. Greek plays. Euripides, Sophocles, all that good stuff. The Hesiod, which is the history of the gods, the Greek gods, and like the muses and fun stuff. Really short read, you should read it. And then, of course, the Odyssey. We didn't get to the Iliad, but the Odyssey sort of came first. Yeah, why not? And it's a epic poem, because before they could write things down, they kept their history through oral tradition, usually in poetry, because it helps to repeat and rhyme and all that. And then the Roman version of the Odyssey, the Aeneid. So, poetry has traditionally been used to record history, whether true or false, but history nonetheless, and culture. So that was classical literature. Then English and American poetry goes all the way back to, like, Beowulf and The Green Knight. And I don't know if you can see, but we sort of had to read it in Old English. And I mean, we didn't have to be encouraged to it, and it was just really difficult. It is a whole new language. And then here we have the Norton Anthology of Poetry, which covered so many poems and poets. Emily Dickinson was my favorite. She rocks. And then for American literature, mostly novels, but we did cover Walt Whitman, Song of Myself. So, poetry in every class. Boom. These are all his plays, but also his sonnets. And the most of what he writes is an iambic pentameter, which I'll explain in the next video. Okay, and I didn't just study poetry, I practiced the art of it. I've been writing since, let's see, 8th grade, 9th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, so 8 years of writing poetry. And in those 8 years, I have over 300 poems, almost 350, a few that aren't quite finished yet. And I've lost some. And they were stolen, you know, literally. Look at my notebook. So yeah. Yes. And this last October, Halloween with the deadline, sort of, I wrote a book of poetry for the Walt Whitman Award National Contest for First Time Poets. Yeah, so fingers crossed for that. Results are in the end of April. Really close, actually. Feels like it's forever. So, $5,000, published book, all expense paid trip to Italy for a fellowship. That'd be pretty awesome. So yeah, there's that. And after I graduate in a year or two, I will go for my MFA in poetry, most likely at Hunter's College because Columbia is pretty expensive. So yeah, that's me. Thanks. Yeah, so the next video will be accompanied with the next post on the art behind the apathetic artist. And like I said, this will be the foundational post of the art of poetry. So the next ones will actually go more into style rather than definitions of terms. So that'll be a much shorter video. I ramble a lot. Sorry, not sorry. Actually, kind of sorry. So yeah, thanks. Hashtag David is right.